Hello, welcome to the Solidity course. So, first of all, what is Solidity already? Okay, so the Solidity is a new programming language which is invented by the Ethereum community. And to, this is only used to build a smart contract in a better way. In the other hand, there is also other languages being used to develop a smart contract, but Ethereum is more powerful. As we go further, we will learn why Ethereum is using Solidity widely. So without further delay, let's jump into the video. And here I will trying to represent Solidity concepts with the practical as well as theoretical part as well. Yeah, and here we are going to cover most probably all the topics regarding the Ethereum blockchain, Solidity, smart contracts, and its development, deployment, overall the life cycle. So let's get started. So, Solidity. Here we are going to learn about what is Solidity and what is our agenda for this video and what we are going to cover in this journey so far. So first of all, we are going to cover smart contract lifecycle and its understanding, as I mentioned, right? So here we are going to learn what is a smart contract and how the smart contract is going to develop by using the Solidity language. In order to build a smart contract, we will we will deep dive into it and discover the life cycle of the smart contract. And also, we will go and use the Solidity hands-on part. What is hands-on part? So yeah, that's correct. So hands-on part is basically a practical part. So whatever we are learn, whatever we are going to learn about the smart contract, we are going to implement on the same time in a real-time project. Right, so this is might interesting, and this might a little boring in the beginning because here we are going to cover a lot of topic which is prerequisites before jump into the practical part. So you should aware like what is this, and whenever we are just jumping into practical part, we are going to use keywords. So at least before jumping to the practical part, we have to learn the keywords so we can understand what is that mean exactly in the Solidity, because Solidity is the new language, you know, and also it's new for most probably everybody, and it's a recently launched by the Ethereum community. So there is some minor structure change, but the logic behind the Solidity remains same. So if you mastered or if you're already using any kind of other languages, this is more similar into it. So you can just find a minor difference if you already know other languages, for example C++, Java, JavaScript, and so on. So, and after that, we are going to learn about is layout, what is constructor, what is variable, what is the difference between my memory and storage. And also, we are going to learn the variable types. And also, we are going to cover the conditional execution. What is conditional execution? We'll deep dive into it, no problem. And iterative execution, Solidity, compile. This is important, the compilation part. I love it. And what is ABI? ABI is stand for Application Binary Interface, and finally the bytecode. So what is ABI? What is bytecode? What is Solidity compiler? What are those things? If you're not aware about or if you don't have any prior knowledge about these topics, do not to worry about that because we are going to cover each and every aspects here in this case in a greater detail and also try to implement on the practical part as well. So you will get a clear understanding what it is and how to create this or how to use this. Okay, let's jump into it directly. So first of all, we are going to learn the smart contract life cycle. So, as the name suggests, what is life cycle? Life cycle is basically, for example, life cycle is basically the thing where you are starting something and where you are ending. So, in between, like from start to end, whatever reactions or whatever consequences or whatever the action is happening between those, it is called life cycle. So here in the case of, of the solidity, this is the same. So let's jump into it directly. So the smart contract life cycle, right? So in this case, first we are going to develop a smart contract. How we are going to develop that? Of course, yes, we are going to use Solidity language as we talked earlier, right? And based on the development, we are going to compile our code in a compiler, and we will try to convert our smart contract Solidity code into the bytecode. Bytecode here is very important. So until and unless you don't create a bytecode, you will never ever going to deploy your smart contract into Ethereum blockchain, right? So this is very important thing while we are just converting our um, development to the compiler and compilation convert those logics or the smart contracts um, into the bytecode, and that bytecode is going to deploy into the Ethereum blockchain network. All right. And once we deploy that, once we just deploy that successfully in the Ethereum blockchain, what next? The next is execution. We are going to check in like whether whatever we have developed, whatever we have compiled, whatever we have deployed, is it going in a right way or we are making any mistake, because there is a node checker, right? So if you just develop a smart contract and you converted that a bytecode and you just try to deploy that, what if it's not working as per the logic? What if it's not matching the business need? All right, so here we are going to check those things, like whenever we are just done with our deployment part, we are going to enter the logic in that and check whether our function is giving the correct output or the desired output in this case or not. And this is about the life cycle of the smart contract basically. But here is one more thing, which is smart contract life cycle is not kept in, I believe so. So the before development, we are not going to, jump into the development directly. What we are going to develop? Of course, yes, we have to just, um, have some requirement, some analysis, some designing. So what we are going to develop. Before that, we are not going to develop anything. What we are going to develop, right? So in this case, a smart contract or Ethereum community pre-assume that you already completed those part, like requirement analysis and designing the business logic and whatever the prerequisite is. So once the requirement understood, once the analysis got done, once the designing part got done, then you are going to jump into the development part. And after that, yeah, of course, you're compiling and you're deploying, and the final output you are going to get by putting some random example, like if you are just for example, if you are just developing a nursing app, like nursing ID 5 and nurse name is this. So after a deployment, you're going to put it the ID. So it should be give us an output of the nurse name, right? So we are going to check on that, like it is matching um, with the requirements or not. Okay, so it's I think I took too much time to explain this, but yeah, no problem. So let's jump into the next slide. So here we are going to learn Solidity. Oh my God, what is this? As I earlier said, Solidity is, it's a high level language. And also it's working on OOPS concept. It's clearly mentioned over here. It's a high level language and also working with OOPS concept. And also it is the only powerful language which is using by the smart I mean, using to develop a smart contract. Why only Solidity? Why we cannot, I mean, use the Java, JavaScript, Python, or C++? One major thing I would like to point out here. So let's see, if you are going to develop your smart contract by using a Java language, right? So you are started your development, and after some time or after some development you find some challenges, like you don't know like how to write those logics in Java, right? So you are going to search the tutorial, ask the Google, ask your friends, ask your tutor, or maybe ask your colleagues or the whoever is having the knowledge. What but you will get anyhow that output, or you may not. There is a two possibility. But in this case, there is a low chance to get the desired output, or your query get resolved, because not everyone is using the Java. So if you got stuck somewhere, you don't have any choice, right? So you got stuck means you got stuck. So to discount this part, we are going to use only Solidity in order to create our smart contract. Solidity having a vast majority of the developers or the supporter 24/7 available. Like, Google, you can just Google wherever you're stuck, Google it. It will give you output because widely it is using uh, by the user or the creator or the developers, whoever is that. And the one more thing, like whenever your bytecode is got generated, where you are going to deploy that? It's EVM, like Ethereum virtual machine. We are going to use Ethereum virtual machine to deploy our bytecode. All right. So hope this will make sense. Let's jump into the other slide. So this is very interesting. So this is the primary part of the Solidity language. So here a simple Solidity smart contract layout I specifically mentioned over here. So what is Solidity looks like? How we are going to define Solidity in in a structural way. I mean, the basic way where the Ethereum community defined that, like this is the parameter, this is the prerequisite. Whenever you start writing your code, you have to just, um, I mean, declare these steps, or I mean, already you have to define these certain criterias. What are those? So first, we are going to define the version. What version of Solidity we are going to use in this case? Once we are done with the defining our version, it is going to be a very next step, which is defining the contract. So once we define that already, the version of the Solidity programming language, then after we are going to define the contract. Contract is important, Solidity version is important, and what are those? String name. What is this? This is kind of variable. So we are going to define the variable as well. Variable to define like what kind of data we are going to store. Like if it is say like in earlier example we took the nursing app, so we choose in the nurse ID. So it will confuse like what ID you're talking about. What sort of ID is that? Is that a like integer, or it's what sort of this ID is? What does ID stand for? So we have to define what kind of things ID contain. ID contains integer, right? So we have to just define, and this is called variable. You might know about that. And after that, we are going to define or write function. There is a two things. One is write function and one is read function. So what is write function and what is read function? So the write function is basically stand for whatever input we are going to put in order to develop our smart contract, right? And what is read function? Read function is also whatever we have written after the deployment, we are going to get those details by putting some keywords, like if it is case ID number 5, which should have a nurse name, right? So we are going to get put the 5 number ID, and we are liable to get that, or we are make sure we are going to get the nurse name who have I mean who assigned the ID number 5. All right, and what we are going to get extra after that. So we are going to pay some gas fee. So what is the gas fee? So the gas fee, whenever we are going to deploy any function in Solidity smart contract, then we are going to pay some gas fee. But here you don't need to worry about that, because we are going to use test network. Then what is test network and what is main network? We will just have a greater look after it. So we are going to pay a gas fee in order to um, deploy our smart contract, or whatever the write our smart contract or update our smart contract. And do we pay a gas fee to read it? Like while we are reading, do we need to pay any gas fee? No, we don't need to pay any gas fee, because we are not putting anything, like, we are not writing anything or updating anything or putting some sort of storage in the Ethereum blockchain. So we are not going to get or we are not going to charge any kind of a gas fee while we are getting the data from it, like a, the reading the data from it. Hope this is clear. And what else? So what are the Solidity programming constructor? So we are here is inbuilt function, error handling, object oriented, and control structures, event handling, and generic and custom data type. What are those? We are going to get in the greater detail, like inbuilt functionality and error handling. This is just a theoretical part. So if you wish to continue, then you can just continue the series, or if you already know any of this, and because this is very important also, if you want to know in the greater detail, so be with me and I will try my best to explain those. And if you got bored, pause the video, go and have some coffee, and after that you can just continue with the video. So let's jump into the next slide. Solidity, state and variable type. What is a solidity and what is state and what is variable? We are going to look into it. All right. So here, the first data type or variable is integer in this case. What is integer? You probably know about. Yeah, integer is, whenever we are just defining our any number, we are using integer. But what is int and what is uint? Oh my God. Okay, so no need to worry about that, but this is a part of integer. So in Solidity, there is two category of integers. One is int. The integer is containing positive and the negative value both. And what is uint? Uint only containing the positive value. It is never ever accept the negative value. Never. Never ever accept the negative value. Only positive value. Only positive value is going to declare in the uint. What is uint? U is a stand for unsigned. So I cannot write over here from a mouse, but yeah, it's unsigned integer, and this is integer. So integer capture positive and the negative value. Uint unsigned integer is capturing only positive value. If you wish, we can just directly jump into the Solidity remix IDE, which is our practical part, and directly go and have I mean, look and feel like how we are going to define or develop in the real-time projects. Let's jump into the next slide, and we will just, in this case, going to have a look like the how we are going to develop a smart contract by using the very famous platform, which is Remix IDE. So the Remix IDE is the one of the popular platform widely using only for the Solidity development or the smart contract development. This is specifically designed for Solidity by Ethereum community. Very simple. So yeah, without further delay, let's jump into the video and we will look how the practically appears. Let's go and open the Remix IDE.